Hello everybody, welcome back to Kanga TV, home of North Melbourne fans, and welcome to the Round 4 preview. North Melbourne take on the Sydney Swans at Marvel Stadium on Saturday night, and I am really looking forward to seeing how we respond after our loss over at Adelaide Oval against the Crows. Not a bad performance against the Crows, and I think majority of us left that game feeling, 12 months ago, we lose that game by 60, 70 points. So to keep it within 6 goals was definitely a positive. But I also think it was frustrating as we were probably the reason why we lost that game once again. And I don't want to discredit the Crows. Their scoring efficiency and their pressure was excellent and definitely forced us to make a lot of mistakes, and they knew how to capitalise on them. But I also think the story of the season for North Melbourne so far this year, and I've said it quite a few times on the channel now, is that we are in control of our output at the moment. And I think if we can just find a way to tighten up a little bit and just remain composed and calm under pressure, then we may be able to secure our second win of the season. It's been a really crazy month. I feel like this month has flown, and I can't believe we're already here in round 4 from a personal perspective. And in terms of Kanga TV and the channel, I've loved meeting all of you guys at the games and interacting with you all on a week-to-week basis. It's been amazing riding the highs and lows of North Melbourne's season so far with all of you. It definitely makes the ride a lot more enjoyable and more interesting, and I hope that me being here, you feel the same way. I have definitely been trying to find a good rhythm between the week-to-week stuff and the bits and pieces in between, or the news in between, but also the stories of the people that make this club so special, and that, in my mind, is what helps Kanga TV set itself apart and what really connects the fans and the viewers and me and you guys. So I think after this week, I am going to find a little bit of a better rhythm and a way to start incorporating more of that stuff that I was doing over the off season, because that's the stuff I really love doing as well, in line with also bringing you all the week to week news and teams and reviews and previews and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I just want to say thank you for being here once again, and it's been an amazing month, and I can't wait for this weekend, and I can't wait for what's to come. Let's just get stuck straight into it. It's a massive game for North on Saturday night, and I don't want to put too much pressure on the club or the team that takes the stage on Saturday night, but what this game and a potential win could do for North in terms of the context of our season, in terms of the trajectory of where this club goes this season and beyond, is quite big, I think. And I don't think the significance of it can be underplayed either. We have an opportunity here to go 2-2 at the end of round 4, with Gather Round and the Good Friday clash to come in rounds 5 and 6. And I feel like this could really give us a huge boost of momentum and just a massive boost for morale and for confidence if we can walk away with the 4 points here. And I don't think that we should be going into this game thinking anything other than we absolutely can win this game. The last time we played the Swans at Marvel Stadium was Interchange Gate. That game lives rent-free in the head of all North Melbourne supporters. It was a very frustrating game, and one that we won't forget for a very, very long time. I actually have done a video on the channel about that game previously. I did it with Deebs from True Bloods. If anyone is interested in reliving that trauma, then I will leave the link in the description down below. But I just can't help but feel like this is a massive game for us already in round 4. And like I said, it's not make or break in terms of our season, but what it could do and what it could unlock ahead of Gather Round and the Good Friday game, I think, is enormous. We've never won a game at Gather Round, and while the Suns do look drastically improved from where they have been in previous seasons, I still would go into that game thinking we could absolutely win that, and it wouldn't scare me whatsoever. And then the following week against Carlton, we've only won the one game on Good Friday against St Kilda many years ago, and Carlton are looking rather vulnerable at the moment, and we haven't really been able to match them for quite some time. So I think that would be another massive opportunity potentially for us to claim another big scalp and on a big stage, because I can't help but feel every year going into Good Friday that we're a chance to lose it if we don't give the AFL a reason for us to keep it. You know, we're not like a Geelong or a Hawthorn who have the luxury of just playing Easter Monday every year and not having to justify it, or Collingwood and Essendon on Anzac Day. Within a few years of that Good Friday game being given to us, there was already a second fixture on that evening. And it's just there's always a different story when it comes to North Melbourne, always a different rule when it comes to North Melbourne. So I think our only option is to demand the AFL to give us great commercial fixtures, primetime fixtures, standalone exhibition games through our form. And I think this year, especially if we can get some wins on the board early, is the best opportunity for us to do it. I don't remember the last time North looked so solid and looked like they were a genuine chance going into so many games so early on in the season. I know we won our first 2 games in 2023, but it didn't really feel the same as it does now. Right now, it just feels to me that if we can tighten up and if we can just apply ourselves that extra 20-30%, then anything really can happen. And if something has proven to me to be most important, it is that team defense and that game against the D's, which I know we'll talk about for so long. It's just all of our key players getting involved offensively and defensively. Unfortunately, so many of our main ball users could not get their hands on the footy in Adelaide Oval on Sunday afternoon. LDU was missing in action. Harry Sheezel's been missing in action probably for the entirety of the season so far, and I hope that in time he is able to adjust to the new role and adjust to the demands that are expected of him and that we've sort of become accustomed to. We're very spoilt because Harry Sheezel hasn't really put a foot wrong since stepping through the door at Arden Street, so the concern is more just from a place of welfare, and hopefully he is okay and he is in time able to find his best form once again. If he's able to do that by retaining his spot, then great. If he needs some time away, then so be it. We have no other choice, I should say, but to just support him and stand by him and hope that he can find the light at the other end of the tunnel. Tom Powell was quiet over the weekend. So there's a few key ball users that were very quiet in that game against Adelaide, and then the intensity and the heat that we seemed to bring as a side and applied to Melbourne just seemed to completely drop off, and we just crumbled under the pressure that the Crows put us under over the weekend. So I really hope that we can just back ourselves in, back our structure, back our game plan, and just go at it full tilt. I also know that it'll be a big game for Luke Parker and Jacob Constanti coming up against their old side. Luke Parker in particular is a club legend, former captain of the Swans, premiership player. This game would mean so much to him, and if we can, as a side, just really support him and rally around him and give him a win that he deserves, that would just be awesome. And Constanti, while he didn't play a game for the Swans, I'm sure he'll go in with a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He does have a bit of dog in him, I reckon, Jacob Constanti. He doesn't mind a little bit of a niggle, a bit of a push and shove, and I think he's really thriving. The opportunity that he's getting, I think he's been the biggest surprise packet for North Melbourne so far in season 2025. I definitely didn't expect him to have the impact that he is having ever, let alone immediately. His defensive pressure and work in the forward line has been great. It has really helped us lead to retaining the ball inside our forward 50 or those repeat entries that is helping us score really efficiently and being able to put big scores on the scoreboard. And then he's also contributing to that by kicking a few goals of his own. So hopefully that continues, particularly putting on a show against his old side on Saturday night. Now, in terms of team changes, I did do a video on the channel earlier this week about potential structural changes that we could make heading into this game, personnel changes, and then who might make way because of injury. I just want to put it out there that I am a firm believer still in the minimal changes where required. I still think this team really needs to build a bit of synergy and build a bit of a rhythm amongst the 23, especially with the likes of Griffin Logue expected to come back, potentially available for selection this weekend from that hamstring injury. Jackson Archer will come back from suspension next week, and George Wardlaw will play in the VFL this weekend as he starts to make his way back into the AFL side. So those are already 3 of our best core 23 players that we expect to return to the side in the next month. So I wouldn't be making too many changes outside of that unless it's completely necessary. This week, unfortunately, Toby Pink might have to make way for Griffin Logue. I think it's a real shame. I've loved what I've seen from Toby Pink over the past fortnight. He looks so vastly improved than what he showed last year. He just looks like he's really toned up. He's in great shape. His possession and his defensive work has been really, really good. His marking's been quite good and his tackling pressure's been really good as well. So I think it would be a shame for him to be the one to lose his spot should Griffin Logue become available, but that's probably a no-brainer in terms of bringing Griffin Logue back in when fit. He's undoubtedly one of our best one-on-one defenders alongside Aiden Core, and I think it's really important to get those two playing as much footy together as possible, with Charlie Comben as that third intercepting defender in the backline, playing a little bit more loosely. The other potential change I did speak about in that video was bringing in a third tall forward to help out Tristan Sherry in the ruck and Jack Darling up forward. I just feel like Jack Darling had to carry way too much of the ruck load over the weekend. I know Sherry went off early with a knock, and while he is fit and available to play over the weekend, I would just hate Darling to be taken away from the forward line too much to carry a lot of that ruck load. Not only did he look absolutely gassed by the end of the game, to be honest, he looked gassed most of the second half. I think he was quite worn out by that role, but he's at his most dangerous when he's up forward. He's either doing body work in the forward line. He's got great tackling element to his game as well, which is one of the reasons why we brought him on. We also know that he is so good at presenting up the ground and being a really strong marking option higher up the ground for us. I think that's where he is at his most dangerous, and I think that's what we need him to do to alleviate pressure of the likes of Larky, who has really benefited from Jack Darling coming into this side. I just don't know. I don't know what the go is there. Do we aim to bring in a Bryn Teakle, potentially debut Finbar Maley? That has been teased over the past fortnight. Maybe it's his time. I just think that Sherry needs support in the ruck beyond Jack Darling, not just in case an injury like this happens again, but just for the whole structure of our side. Having said that, I still would like to give Robert Hanson Jr. another shot this week. I think he's done enough in the past few weeks to suggest to me that he does deserve to keep his spot. So we'll find out tonight what the final team looks like ahead of Saturday's game, but there are a few more thoughts I've shared in that video. I'll leave the link in the description for that one down below as well. I do think that we are, like I said before, probably a 3 to 4 goal better side at Marvel anyway, and we know that our game stacks up really well there. It was proven in the first 2 rounds of the season, so I think that we could back ourselves in and we could, like I said, make those minimal changes again and trust that the form and the results we got in rounds 1 and 2 would be enough to carry us through in this game as well. In terms of the Swans, they've had a pretty slow start to the season as well, just the 1 win to kick off season 2025. It is confirmed that Tom Papley won't play this weekend, just to add to their very, very long list of injuries. Tom Papley always has a day out against North Melbourne, so I guess it benefits us, but also we know that the Dogs had a long list of injuries and key players out and still were able to find a way to beat us. So it doesn't really mean anything in my mind. And the Swans, while they have had a pretty slow start to the season, they are still an excellent outfit, and I'm sure will throw everything they have at us. But like I said before, I really back us in to win this game. I think that we should go in feeling really good and really confident. I think we'll be hungry to respond. I think things feel different at the club, and the players would be really desperate to prove it. That's sort of the feeling I have at the moment, and I think they all would have been very disappointed with the result on Sunday. I mean, Clarko's words in his press conference were really disappointed and really put the onus back on us. And I think we know now that things feel different. We know now that it's just going to take a little bit of time and a bit of maturity to be able to start seeing those results and start seeing the reward for effort. We really need to find a way to lift the intensity on our part and match the intensity and withstand the pressure from our opposition. That was the biggest thing for me when it came to the Crows. Their pressure was relentless, particularly in the middle of the ground. They capitalised on our errors, and then their scoring efficiency when they went inside forward 50 was off the chart. So simple stuff. In theory, I'm not the one playing, so I guess I would just assume it's simple stuff and hopefully things that won't take much to rectify. We know what a difference a week in footy can make, and that was the case between round 2 and round 3, and hopefully it is between rounds 3 and 4. It wasn't even that big of a difference, to be honest. It's just a 5-10% lift from us could be the world of difference. So I think we just have to find a way to, once again, it's that team defense, and it's really working as a unit and as a united front. Every man out there has his role. It's the two-way running. It's doing what they can for the team and for the better of the team. And I think that's got to be the mentality we take going into this game, knowing that it's definitely a winnable game. Current form would suggest that, and past performances against the Swans at Marvel would suggest that. So why can't we do it? Why can't we win? I think we're every chance. I think we just need to back ourselves in, back our best footy in. Hopefully we can bring that to Marvel Stadium on Saturday night and walk away with the win. For those of you who are heading to the game on Saturday night, I will be at Friends of Fire at Marvel Stadium from 4:30, along with Josh from further north and the north closer to a flag. Boys, if you wanted to join us pre-game for something to eat or a drink and any last-minute north chat, the team at Friends of Fire have kindly set up a few specials for anyone who watches the channel. So head over to Instagram to have a look at those. I'll leave the details as well in the description down below. The team will come out tonight, and no doubt we'll have a chat about that between now and the game. But for now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think we're going to bounce back against the Swans? How do you think this game is going to play out? Leave all of your thoughts in the comments down below, or let's chat about it some more over on socials. Kanga TV Show on Instagram, Facebook, X. You can also send me an email if you are that way inclined. I can't wait to see you all at Marvel Stadium on Saturday night. Enjoy the rest of your week, and go Roos.